But this is one situation pertaining to James Harden and what will happen tonight and what will happen hopefully Sunday. Because if James Harden doesn't win tonight, and he'll win tonight, they'll win. There will be a Game 7. Then, the James Harden legacy will be forever shattered, and he will never have a chance to recover because he'll never have a chance to win again like this. Think about this. Let's say the Warriors somehow do I don't want to say the impossible, but let's say they stun the majority of the basketball world without, no Durant, no Boogie, no bench, 7-point dogs. You'd have to think that the Rockets have enough gumption to really throw down a sterling performance tonight and at the very minimum force a Game 7 at Oracle. You lose a tight one, Clay goes bonkers, Steph goes bonkers. I guess I could kind of live with that. But if James Harden loses tonight, it's utterly inexcusable. But think about the road. I don't know that there's ever been a player who was in the crosshairs like James Harden is right now. The road to a possible championship, I don't want to say it's never been easier, but I don't know that a player's ever quite benefited from the circumstances that are developing now in front of our eyes in real time. That will continue over the summer, by the way. That is opening the door for somebody to finally kick it through with his first championship. I mean, if the Bucks win and the Bucks get to the NBA Finals, right? The Bucks haven't been to the NBA Finals since the mid-'70s, 1973-74. The Raptors have never been there. The Sixers haven't been there since 2001 with Allen Iverson when they lost in 5 to the Lakers, and they actually won that first game. Then they got gentlemanly broomed. They lost 4 straight. So if the Rockets are to advance, whomever's waiting for them for the championship has no championship pedigree. It's not like you've got LeBron's Cavs or like the Celtics took this incremental step, which we thought they might this year, and continued what they started to do last year with their young players and, obviously accentuated by the return of Gordon Hayward and the return to health by Kyrie Irving. That went sideways quick, but they devolved and they became a circus. The Houston Rockets right now have been given gifts that Charles Barkley was never handed by the basketball gods. Karl Malone was never handed by the basketball gods. His buddy John Stockton never received from the basketball gods. Patrick Ewing never received from the basketball gods. Allen Iverson, quite frankly, never received from the basketball gods. All these great players that never won a championship. What else does James Harden need to have happen for it to be handed to him? Like literally, hey, buddy, here's the Larry O'Brien trophy. Take it. Seize it. This is the year. Because if he doesn't do it this year, and by the way, just to be fair, if the Rockets were to advance and move on to the conference finals and face either the Nuggets or the Blazers, and I told you Portland would win last night. I thought we'd get a Game 7 there, and they did. And I think that the Nuggets will now win Game 7. If they face the Nuggets, I'm not so sure that they'll beat the Nuggets, but if they do, I'm not so sure that they'll beat the Bucks because I think the Bucks will now emerge from the Eastern Conference no matter what happens with the Raptors and the Sixers. The point being, it is go time for James Harden. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to see anything else. I want to see James Harden step on that court tonight in his own crib, the Toyota Center, in front of 20,000 Houstonians going bonkers with a compromised, aging Warriors team, without the best player in the world available, with zero bench substance, and it is time for this guy to get it done. Enough of the nonsense. Because really, to me, James Harden is a perfect, and don't get me wrong, as much as I'm getting on him here, all right, based on what I expect to happen and how disappointed I will be if it doesn't. I mean, I'm not trying to bury the lead. James Harden is, he's brilliant at what he does. My critique is that, what he does is very modern oriented. He scores all these points, but he can't play defense. He scores all these points, but he's got a green light to shoot from 30 feet whenever he wants. And it's just, it's a different standard, quite frankly, that other great players have not been held to. And I think it's unfair to those guys. And I just mentioned 5 or 6 of them. I ran through some names. Granted, a very different generation. But this goes back to, at a very different brand of basketball, this goes back to the 2016-2017 season. Game 6, Western Conference semis against the Spurs team that they're better than. Elimination game. Plays 37 minutes. Takes 11 shots. I think he only made 2 or 3 buckets. He only had 10 points, and he had 6 turnovers. So, okay, as you ascend to the throne of superstardom, there's going to be bumps along the way, clearly. And to be fair to James and other superstars who stumble early, because it's a part of the natural process, I believe, I think what's more important is how you respond. And how he responded was with an incredible 2017-2018 NBA season where he won the MVP. And I'm like, okay, the ascension continues. This is a step forward. He was inexplicably disengaged from the most pivotal moment of a season, and that's a bad look because great champions, they just don't do that. Although LeBron did do that once against the Celtics back in the day, to be fair. But for the most part, you go down shooting. I mean, if you're going to lose, Kobe's chucking up air balls as a kid. I mean, Ewing threw up a bunch of breaks. Barkley, I mean, these guys that I met, at least they shot. He didn't shoot. And that bothered me. And I wondered, is this a foreshadow of James Harden in the big game? And then he silenced me because he was great as an MVP. And then now, going back to last postseason, now the onus changes. Now the barometer and how at least, I view James Harden, it's growing and it's evolving. And then we go to the postseason last year, and we were met with a bunch of mystifying performances. 2 for 18, 7 for 22, 8 for 22, 9 for 24. Look it up. I'm not making this up. 5 for 21. In the 3 rounds that he played last year, the first round was against Minnesota, shot 39%. Second round he played against Utah, he shot 40%. And then in the next round against the Warriors, he shot 41%. Not a modicum of efficiency. Okay, not a speck. And now this season, granted, another great regular season. Here we are again. It's go time. Here we are again. And then the other night, series is tied up at 2. The balance of the season and really a very defining piece of his legacy, he doesn't shoot again. Final 8 minutes. Not a shoot. Why would I shoot? I only take 30 shots a night during the regular season. Why would I continue that now when the season's hanging by a thread? And they lost. And they lost a game they should have won. So, and then you throw in the fact that he shot 37% in round 1 against Utah. So, I don't love just throwing stats upon stats. I will say this. You hear me say this on occasion. I know you're driving around. You're listening. You kind of, you're looking at your phone. You're at work. I know that you don't have these numbers as readily available to you as maybe I do in terms of the research and being able to present this to you in a bullet point kind of a way. But trust me when I tell you, the numbers aren't pretty. And everything that I just said is accurate. So here it is. James Harden, almost 30. All right. The world's best player is not playing tonight. And he ain't playing on Sunday. Steph is 31, actually. Clay, not a kid, Even guys the Warriors used to have, like Mo Bucket Spates, who helped them. A younger Bogut. These guys were good players. Livingston was younger. This is a different Warriors team. You have to stick the stake in their heart. And you got to bury them. You have to win tonight. You have to. And you have to win Sunday. You have to. Otherwise, you're an empty scorer. And that's it. And, there's no shame in that, I guess. You're going to make money, and you'll get to the Hall of Fame. A lot of empty scorers around the NBA. I love Dominique Williams, and I hate to say that he's an empty scorer. Dominique Wilkins won nothing. You'll be Dominique Wilkins. Okay? That's cool. You'll be Alex English. It's great. You got no championships. You'll be Carmelo Anthony. You got nothing. It is time to win tonight.